say in boxing you throw a right hand. You're never supposed to get too far off balance, right? I'm going to pause. So if you're listening to this, sorry. If you're watching this, awesome. But in boxing, you're never supposed to come like this, and fall over. You're not supposed to fall on your opponent. You're supposed to keep your balance. You're supposed to always keep in the right place because you don't want to be too far off. You get knocked over, something like that. Whereas I think in MMA, you can throw a lot more different punches in MMA than you can in boxing. You can overextend yourself. You can throw a punch with two intentions, with the intention of it landing or the intention of it hoping that you'll fall into a clinch. And meanwhile, like in clinching, you get these clinches, right? You can over-under clinch. And a lot of times you see guys, I just burped, I hope nobody heard that. A lot of times you see guys, they're trying to dig, they're trying to do wrestling, they're trying to dig for underhooks, and they're pummeling and all this stuff. Whereas what they should be doing is, boom, they should be doing punching and then using that to separate. I think the best example, I don't think that anything should be done in MMA without a distraction of sorts. I think that, say you want to strike, say you want to take somebody down. I think your takedown should be a jab, left low kick, punch, right low kick. Then as you step forward, you're coming into the guy. Or even better if you want to, I think say you want to, when you shoot on somebody, you want to penetrate, right? You want to get down low. You want to really drop that knee. Well, I think you should fall into a guy, come at them with the knee first, and then as your knee comes down, say you're throwing a knee at their head like you would a normal knee strike, right? As that foot comes down, you're using the momentum as like a kickstart on a bicycle to push yourself forward. You're not just starting from scratch. You're bringing your foot down. It's all one motion. No longer. So in that sense, it's kind of a little bit Muay Thai. You got one knee strike. But you also have, as it hits down, the moment it hits, you're shooting. And, I think when you're shooting, sometimes you should be shooting, grab the legs, boom, you're releasing. As you're coming up, you're not coming up, you're coming up with the knee to the midsection. I think that everything you do in MMA should be involved all the disciplines. Say you want to, you're against the fence. You want to turn the guy. He's got your back against the cage. Foot stop. The moment that foot hits his foot, you turn him because that's the distraction. You talk about sometimes you see guys doing arm drags. They'll grab the wrist and they'll pop the elbow on the arm drag to make you instinctively move forward, distracting you on one count so that your leg is available. So they're going like this. They're popping it like that. Your instinct when your arms goes like this from this, it goes straight. You want to move into it. They're grabbing your leg. The same principle will apply in MMA. Maybe you're going to be throwing jabs because you want to get the guy off to one side. In wrestling, you try to move the guy. You always want to get an angle. You don't want to be squared up. You want to be off to the side so you can, run at him on the side of his legs. So maybe you'll start throwing punches hoping that you can corral him into moving the direction you want. Instead of, in wrestling, they teach you to move. You're supposed to walk and hope that the guy will follow or not follow, I should say, so that you can get the angle you want. Whereas in MMA, I think that the key will be someday that you will strike to put the guy in the position that you want him to be in. And so I think that'll really be the future. Once we start seeing guys really start thinking in those ways. I don't think we see that a lot. I don't think we see truly an integrated sport. We see guys doing everything at a high level, but not all the way. And, here's a great example. Somebody's in your guard. You want to trap their arm against your chest before you do an arm bar, right? You want to hold their arm in place. Also, what you want to do, a lot of times, you want to get their head to go backwards. You want their face to go back into the sky so that you can get your leg around their head, right? This is going to be great, ladies and gentlemen, when we do some 5-star radio tutorials with the video. If you would like that, if you'd like to see some of Mike Coughlin's innovative techniques, let me know, and maybe we'll do it, or maybe we won't. But, so what you want to do in jiu-jitsu, they would teach you hold and secure the elbow to pin it against the chest, push your hand against their head to get it going. Whereas I think we should do is, the guy's got his hands down on you, I think you should be throwing back fists up against his face. That'll have the effect of, one, pushing his head down, and as your back fist, your fist is instinctively coming down when you throw a back fist, right? It extends up, it hits his head, then it comes back down to your chest, where you're trapping the arm. So you punch his face up, he's going to move it up, even if it's just a little pitter-patter deal, he's just going to kind of move it like, I don't want to get hit like that anymore, stop it. Boom, he's not really seeing you trapping the arm, then you throw the arm bar up. Things like that. So we see a little bit of it, putting a guy in a triangle, you start hitting the head and top of the head with an elbow. But there's probably all kinds of techniques out there like that. I think you should be hitting the guy at every chance you get. You shoot in on somebody, punch him in the back of the thigh. You grab that single leg and you're trying to muscle him down. He's sprawling on you. Start elbowing him in the calf. Elbow him in the calf. Punch him in the ass. Hit him anywhere. Single thing you do should make him pay. And we're not seeing that as much. We're seeing too many pure techniques used still. And really, it's MMA. Everybody's always known for a while. No, you need to know everything. I think it's not just you need to know everything. You need to feel everything. You need to be everything so that it is one unique hybrid, truly hybrid new martial art. Folks, I'm going to go run and grab a drink of water. It'll be 5 seconds. Figure4online.com. All this for $10 a month. Actually, you get a lot more than just this for $10 a month, folks. But our next question comes from Brett Jones. Yes, Brett, I'm getting to your questions. He's got 157 questions right here. Some of these he didn't even know he had. But so Brett, we're just going to start with some of your questions. In fairness to Brett, this is really odd. I know. I'm playing to the camera. I'm playing to the microphone. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. 5-star radio, we're out of control. But in fairness to Brett, he's got some excellent questions, so he gets a pass. The first question was, do you think the UFC should have included Sean Gannon on this current season of The Ultimate Fighter, given the feud with Kimbo and the fact that, at this point in the season, Gannon may be the best fighter not named Roy Nelson? I don't know. I mean, maybe he wasn't available. Maybe he didn't want to do it. I think it certainly would have been interesting. I would have put him in the house. I think it would have created a really cool dynamic. But at the same time, this is a show that's got Wes Sims on it, and they have not given him any airtime after the first episode, and I know Wes Sims has more to say. We'll see. Matt Schaub's on the show. He's looking pretty good. The British dude, McSweeney, didn't look all that hot, but maybe he'll do better in a second fight. Obviously, Roy Nelson's a quality fighter. Marcus Davis is something special, maybe, or maybe it's just going to be a fluke, nothing. But, Sean Gannon would have been interesting. I think it would have been pretty cool to do. I would have done it just for that reason, like Brett said, to add a little intrigue and drama to the house. But and I think honestly, I think they're going to need it. The show's been so awesome so far, but you can never have too much of grown men acting like little children inside of your professional fighting house. Look at this yellow cup. Isn't that fantastic? Yellow cup, Target, 50 cents. Next question. You can tell some of these questions are old. Now that a match between Fyodor Emelianenko and Brock Lesnar is off the table, what, if anything, do you think Brock will have to do in order to overtake Fyodor as a top heavyweight in the world? It's just a matter of time. I think if Fyodor goes out there and crushes Shane Nelson, say he destroys Rodrigo Nogueira, and maybe gets one more big win under his belt, it would be a clear number 2. As far as who's number 1, who's number 2, it's all relative. I don't even think it really matters. All that really matters is that everybody agrees that they're both great, great fighters. We want to see them fight someday. I think if the day Fyodor loses, Brock will slide right into that spot. But look, if Fyodor remains undefeated, his supporters and backers are not going to be convinced of anything that Brock Lesnar does. They're just never going to be convinced because, well, in some respects, they're going to be like, look, this is the guy that was the undisputed top heavyweight in the world. He's beat everybody he's ever faced. He's looked unbeatable, with the exception of one minor cut that he suffered against Yoshio Kosaka in that rings tournament way, way, way back. The guy is an unbeatable, killing Russian monster, and all he's done is ever win. He should be number 1, To be the man, you got to beat the man. If you're number 1 in the world, you get to keep being number 1 in the world until somebody knocks you off that perch. And just because somebody out there is an incredibly close number 2, they're still incredibly close number 2. They're not number 1. They're a really close number 2. And, who cares, though? Rankings, this, that. We just want to see Brock and Fyodor fight, don't we? That's the only thing that genuinely matters at this point. Do you feel that there are heavyweight fighters not currently under contract with the UFC that can legitimize both Fyodor as relevant to the American audience and Strikeforce as an alternative to the UFC? No. As far as making them relevant to the UFC audience, no. You can take a guy like Alistair Overeem, who's become a pretty damn credible heavyweight, or Josh Barnett, drug usage or not. And to hardcore fans, they'll make him look more credible. But they already know that Fyodor's credible.